The biggest paid advertising mistake financial advisors make isn't bad targeting. It's advertising content nobody wanted in the first place.
Most financial advisors think the problem is their audience, their budget, or the platform.
It usually isn't.
The highest converting ads almost never begin as ads. They begin as organic content that already earned views, comments, shares, saves, and conversations without an advertising budget.
That's your market telling you, we want more of this.
When you amplify proven organic content, paid advertising stops feeling like a gamble and starts becoming a predictable way to scale what's already working.
In this episode, we'll show you exactly how financial advisors can identify their highest performing organic content, turn it into paid advertising, and use it to generate more qualified appointments instead of simply spending more on ads.
Because the best performing ad you'll ever run is probably one you've already posted. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into this week's episode of the Digital Advisor Sandbox.
Welcome to the Digital Advisor Sandbox, your marketing and lead generation blueprint.
And we are coming to you live from Newport Beach, California, and talking about financial advisors and why they're wasting thousands of dollars every month boosting content that never had a chance. My name's Rob Sousa with WealthVids.
I'm Brian with the Sandbox.
And
Welcome.
We're going to take a deep dive into, it's kind of part two, because last week we talked about studying your analytics on your organic content, and then when and how to add paid advertising to boost, to get your message out in front of the right people. But I think today what we're talking about is, but it has to be the right content.
Yeah, it has to be good content. You would never want to put money behind something that wasn't already performing well, or having a high confidence that it's going to perform well.
Yeah, and I would say a good example of that's very relatable to a lot of financial advisors and life agents is if you do a really good job getting a room full for an in-person live workshop and you fill it with 30 people. But then at the end, after you do your presentation and your call to action, you get 2 appointments.
Mm-hmm.
What does that tell you?
Your content wasn't good.
Your content wasn't good.
Or you didn't have a strong enough call to action, which is part of your content.
That's correct. And so that's what we're going to help you do, is try and help you convert your organic content by getting your content put together the right way with the right creative, the right messaging, the support structure that's behind that.
Yeah, there's a whole back end to your content that will help it perform. And if those pieces aren't in place, people might watch it. It might perform well on views, but that if they don't click and do something, then what was the point?
Vanity.
Yeah.
Makes me feel better.
Yeah. Wow, I got lots of views, but no appointments.
Right. And in the workshop analogy, when we started workshops 15 years ago, it did take us 6 to 12 months to get it dialed in and figured out. But I'll tell you what, my father, who owns a company since 1974, was a lot more enthusiastic about writing the check for that workshop advertising when we already proved that it was converting.
Yeah, if you get a 3-to-1 return or even a 2-to-1 return, why wouldn't you just spend thousands of dollars and
beg, borrow, steal, put it on a credit card? If you know you can turn 1,000 into 5,000, then that's a safe bet.
Yeah, I'd spend that all day.
I know you have a background in real estate, in a lot of things, but in real estate development, the idea is if you've flipped 10 houses and every investor has doubled their money in that house flip, are you going to have any problem with finding people to fund your house flips?
No, not at all. In fact, they're ready to write a check right there at close of escrow to start the next one.
So what we're going to try and talk about today and really break it down, the process for you, is how to create the right content that will earn the right to get you to want to invest into advertising.
Yes.
Okay. So that being said, let's take a look at a video from Gary V, who explains why organic content should always come before paid advertising.
Here's the secret all of you will learn. Most of my clients in the last 6 to 12 months that are purely in performance are taking money away from working media dollars, taking it out of Meta and Google and putting it into content. Not all of it. If they're spending 10 million in media before they started working with us, spending $1 million in content production, it's just 7 million in media and 4 million in content production. The 7 million in media is converting higher than the old 10 million in media because the punchline of all this marketing is the creative. The organic creative converts itself when it does super well, but then obviously when you put the media against only content that is succeeding, it completely takes it to a different place and your CAC goes down.
Yeah, exactly. So when you put paid ads, we talked about that a minute ago, behind content that you already know is performing well, it's gonna do better. So the question becomes then, why do so many financial advisors think that paid advertising is why is it supposed to fix bad content?
And it's such a good question. And I think, and it does frustrate me because not only in my own business, but also in the advisors that we work with and mentor, that they will put all of this time and effort to study how to create the most advanced competitive financial plan, retirement plan, estate plan, but they won't put any effort into studying what does it take to create good content to get people interested.
Yeah, and to analyze if that content is even performing well.
Right.
And
So
then they wonder why they're not getting leads, or why doesn't the content work, or if they're running paid ads, why am I not getting any leads? Because the same creative that you would put out organically is very similar to the type of content that you would create behind a paid ad.
well, and you've taught me you need to treat your organic as if it is paid,
Yes.
because if it's not set up to create a conversion, which at the end of the day, we're talking about marketing and digital marketing and organic versus paid. You could throw all that out in the window. At the end of the day, what does every financial advisor want?
They want leads.
No.
They want appointments.
No.
What do they want?
Sales.
Yeah, well, yes.
They want to make money.
Yeah, sales.
Right?
But you can't get sales without leads and appointments.
Correct. But my point is that unless you create good enough content, and we'll talk about this in an upcoming video clip from one of our experts, that it's your content is not to tell someone what they should think.
Yeah.
Your content is supposed to get people who didn't think they were interested. So it's more important than showcasing in your social content. Most financial advisors want to lead with the solution.
Yeah.
I've got this great mousetrap and it's better than all other mousetraps.
And here's all the reasons why.
Fisher Investments, structured so that we only do better when you do better. And like, okay, that's great for a TV commercial for a national company, but the reality is that doesn't work.
And that's what I was going to say earlier too, is a lot of people treat their content like it's a commercial.
Right.
It's not, some of it can be a commercial, but only after you get people interested, like you said, and they won't know that they're interested until they see enough of your content and it actually delivers value. It delivers an answer to a question that they've had in the back of their mind.
I like that you say back of their mind. I think that's, for me, a really good visual, because it is a question that they think they have. It's just they can't articulate it. It's not a priority. They just know it's kind of this nagging sense of like, I know something's wrong.
And we talk about that a lot. You got to address the problem.
Right.
What's the problem that they're having? Show them how to fix the problem and then tell them about your solution.
And I find it interesting that the number one form of advertising and marketing in our industry is paid ads or mailers to put butts in seats for a sales presentation down at the community center. And it's been that way for like 30, 40 years. And it's interesting to see some breakout stars that have become super successful overnight. Younger advisors who understand what we're talking about here, that in order to get someone to understand the problem to a point where they trust that your understanding of the problem is comprehensive.
Yes. Yeah, that's a great point. You have to demonstrate that you understand the problem, first of all, and know how to fix the problem, and then you have a solution for that problem.
I would say
and then that's what builds trust.
And I would say the biggest mistake that we made as a company early on doing sales presentations is we would spend a majority of the sales presentation explaining our solution. Our workshops now are like 75% the problem, and helping the viewer or the participant, the attendee of the event, understand the complexity of the problem. And what you're really trying to do is get them to a point where, like, man, this person...
Well, they need to acknowledge that, yes, this is a problem. You're right. That is the exact problem. You're not convincing them, but you're helping them understand that it is, in fact, a problem, even though they may not have thought it was a problem.
But I think we had to even go deeper than that. We had to go to the next step, which was we understand the problem better than anybody else you've talked to.
Yes.
And because we understand the problem better than anybody else, our solution, obviously, then they're set up to build the trust that you have the in-depth experience. You've put in the work to really understand the complexity of the problem.
That's 100% correct. And in fact, when I showed my neighbor some of the content that we've created around the legacy multiplier, because we did spend so much time on the problem, he was more blown away at the nuances of the problem and asking questions like, wow, is it really like that? Or is that true? His questions are centered more around the problem than the actual solution.
Absolutely.
And that's what's intriguing, and that's what gets people to lean in and pay attention so that they'll even bother listening to your solution.
And I know I'm getting ahead of our conversation today, but I think the other big mistake that advisors make is they do a good job in everything you just explained, right? And, oh, this person really understands. And then there's no CTA at the end of the content.
Yeah. And then, you forget to tell people where to go or what to do.
That's
super important.
And effectively telling them what you want them to do about it. In the moment that they're most inspired, they just watched your content. If it's a video reel, they may have watched it 2 or 3 times through. And it could be something as simple as, if you want to know more, click down below, download the PDF.
Right. If you don't have a sales funnel set up, at least have them a way to answer a question, get this download, watch this slide deck. Here's a video on my website that you can watch. Something, anything.
And we'll go through kind of that step-by-step process here in the next segment. But the reality is, I like thinking of it from a analogy. I'm very visual, like a campfire. Campfire has to have a combination of a spark, oxygen, and fuel. And even that needs to be proportioned correctly, because if you just like dump a bunch of wood in a small space with not enough air, it'll never light, no matter how long you try and spark it. You know, you have to have the right recipe of the pieces that we're going to go over today, and we're going to lay that out for you. So
yeah, and the analogy there that you're talking about is the paid advertising behind the content is that fire, that spark that's going to ignite it.
So before we go to the next segment, can you tell me what analytics, we talked about it last week, but I just want to refresh. What analytics should an advisor be looking for to validate that their ad is working as they were hoping? And I know it depends on the CTA, but just give us some examples.
Well, we talked about a little bit about this last week too. We've got the watch time. You can watch the graph to see where people are dropping off. You've got which is audience retention too. Are they watching it all the way through? You've got saves, shares, comments. Those are all signals that show that it's performing well. A CTA for that could be as simple as, if you agree with this, drop a comment down below. Which, by the way, we could even say, if you're running paid ads, drop a comment below and let us know if you are running paid ads.
And so he's not talking theoretically. He's actually talking to you, the audience member, right now. If you are doing organic only, are you doing Facebook or not Facebook, paid only, or are you doing a combination of both? Please let us know in the chat, because the more feedback we get, the more we can give suggestions and guidance based on your particular situation.
Absolutely.
So let's, we have audience. We were going to think about the saves and watch time. You went through all of that, but we have a quick question. What if none of my content is performing yet?
Well, we'll talk about that later in the show too, won't we? Then you got to get better at making content. We've done a ton of podcasts. We have a bunch of information on our YouTube channel that you can check out on how to make better content. But it starts with the hook. You've got to grab their attention, let them know that this is a piece of content that is worth watching, addresses the problem, then answer the problem, what you just said, let them know that you actually understand the problem, give them value. So that, and by value, that's kind of a vague term that gets thrown around a lot, but I see it as actionable steps that they can take just from watching that 1 minute video, or at least implant a question in their mind that makes them want to watch the rest of your content or more of your content. So that helps boost your channel or your platform across all your content, and then have a good CTA, good call to action on what to do next. Download the PDF, leave a comment, go watch a video, sign up for my workshop, whatever it is. The hook, the story, and the offer is what we talk about all the time. And the offer is your CTA. The story is the meat of your content, the value that you're giving them, not just showing them that you've created this wonderful widget, but that the widget actually fixes something that they care about.
Right. And if you're, for that particular question that was posted, also, we're going to give you at the end of this show today the ability to have, if you have content that's not working and you're trying to figure out why, we're going to give you the opportunity to have an assessment done of what content you're struggling with, and we'll be able to help you identify where those weak points are, and then give you some recommended solutions on how to solve that problem or improve that content. So stick around and we'll make sure everybody gets an opportunity to do that. So give me a quick takeaway before we transition into our next video.
Well, the next video we're going to watch is 𝐼𝐸, which we just talked about, is giving them value. Lead with value. Hook them with something interesting that makes them watch past the first 3 seconds, then really deliver them some actionable, valuable steps that shows them that you understand their problem.
Okay. So let me give it a shot at it. If I'm a financial advisor who solves reducing taxes, or a business owner, right? I could say something along the lines of, most of the content is, there's a good chance taxes are going to rise based on the trends of national debt, and I could go further into the content, but and you show the data, you show screenshots, you show maybe a newscaster, and then at the end you come back in and say, but we have a solution for that could completely change your tax bill to a point where we could help you develop a tax-free retirement.
I would even say a step before that, because then that sounds like a bait and switch. Like you've identified a problem and you're holding back the secret solution, and you only get the solution if you book a call. What I would recommend is give them steps. Say, this is what you should do. You should talk to your advisor, and if they're not, then say, if they're not able to execute, or if they don't understand this, then you should book a call, or or send me an email, or whatever.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes. And that's a great takeaway before we go to 𝐼𝐸. is I love the 3 simple steps you can take today
Yes.
to start addressing that issue.
Yes.
Let me give you 3 things you could walk away from this video with today to start solving that problem. And if you need additional help, there's a download or a video.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. Well, let's go to 𝐸𝐿
In order to get engaged leads, which is people who show interest in the stuff that you have to sell, then it means you have to show people who are not interested and get them interested. And so the question is, what is that bridge that goes between not interested and interested? You give them value. And you give them value, ideally, around a problem that you want to solve for them. Now, how you define the problem that you're going to solve gets into the nuance of how you create a lead magnet or offer. But you give yourself the opportunity to solve their problem, ideally, for very low risk, which is either very cheap or nothing at all. And then by doing that, you earn the most valuable thing you can have in business, which is trust. And then at that point, that's when the real conversation begins, and that's where monetization starts.
Okay. Yeah. So what he said, kind of what I said too, is give them actionable steps that's either cheap or free. And, most people won't do it. Only 10% of people will actually take action.
Probably less than that.
But those are the most valuable people you can have. So that's why we always say views on your video is not really a marker on whether or not your content is being successful. Your marker on that is, did they take action on the thing that you wanted them to take action on? Did they download the PDF? Did they share the content with someone else? A CTA could be as simple as that. If you know someone that would find this valuable, send them the link, share this video. That's all you have to do. That's free. It doesn't cost them anything, but it will boost your content. And then maybe the person that they sent it to will book a call. There's so many ways you can do it.
So let's show, not tell. Well, I am telling, but we're going to give value to you right now. And here's a strategy that you could use to test the very thing that Brian and 𝐸𝐿 just discussed, adding value. Well, here's one idea you could use, and I encourage you to use it today. And that's take a piece of content that's done well, but put 3 or 4 different versions with different CTAs.
Yeah.
Comment one, the CTA is comment, one is download, one is go here, watch a video, one is book a call, and then post all of those on all channels, maybe a few days apart, and then test which one.
Yeah. And that's a cheap and easy way to make more content. You could just take some of your best performing videos, either re-edit them or re-record them, make a version of that and just put a different CTA on it, or tweak it slightly. Maybe the hook and the story were good, the CTA was bad, or maybe the CTA was bad, but the story middle could be made better, and just iterate.
Yeah, I agree. And I think testing, even if the engagement is asking them a question and just asking them to give you feedback as a comment, but comments that's a whole nother strategy, but comments are validation.
Yeah. And then how we loop that all around in today's episode about paid advertising, once you have all those pieces together and it's working well and you're seeing, people are actually clicking on it and downloading the PDF, then put paid ads behind it, because all paid ads is forcing it in front of other people that wouldn't normally see it otherwise. Your organic reach may not be strong enough yet, but paid ads will push it out to thousands of people.
Correct. All you need is the validation that it's converting, and you have to figure out what converts best. So you have to test as much as possible. And
paid ads is just a way of testing faster, but it's expensive.
It is, but paid ads is a way to amplify what you've already validated.
Yes.
But you need to have the infrastructure behind it to make sure that lead will convert. You don't want just the comment. You don't want just the view. You don't want just the download. How do you take them from the CTA to the next step of the sales process?
That's the infrastructure that needs, and that's what a lot of people don't talk about probably enough, is there's a whole back end that goes behind this. You have to have let's talk about that. I think we have a graphic for that, and then maybe you can walk us. And if we don't have a graphic, there it is. There we go. Can you walk through this graphic? So you've got your organic content which could be paid content. You could have a lead magnet. People download a lead magnet. Once they give you their name and email, now they're in your CRM, hopefully, if you have one. And then you have some automations that will send out emails, follow-up to drive them to a landing page. You could, if you don't want to do a lead magnet, you could skip that and go straight to a landing page, but some way to get them to go through your funnel and book a call.
And I would say that, we talk about having the right ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people have figured out how to get like downloads, but because they didn't put it on a compelling, I hate even saying landing page,
or even
sales page.
Yes.
It's a sales page, and the sales page needs to do more than give them a link to a download.
Yeah, it needs to give them a compelling reason why they should book a call.
Or take action,
Which is everything that we're talking about for organic content, amplified,
right,
and lengthened, and more meat and more value, stuff it with everything possible with a compelling story that convinces them to book on a strategy call or go to your workshop or attend a live event.
But I think, again, a lot of advisors forget the value of a good sales page that is optimized to do one thing, and that's to get them down that cycle, to get them to what you really want. What you really want is the appointment and the sale.
Yes.
So everything has to set that up.
Mm-hmm.
Everything.
All
even
your emails.
even what's in your download, the follow-up emails. And here's another mistake that I would add to that chart as well, which has been hugely successful for our company, and that is add telemarketing into it as well.
Yes. And all of this runs across everything. All the messaging, the hook story offer that we talk about all the time, that has to be in everything, even in your download. If you're giving them a PDF download that's just 4 or 5 pages out of a manual, and there's no story behind it, there's no structure, and there's no action at the end that says, once you finish reading this, you should go here. Where do they go next? What are they supposed to do after they've read your download?
And something I learned early on, if your download isn't written like,
it has to be written like sales copy. It's just it has to be blatant sales copy, but done well, so it doesn't sound like a pitch, but it is a pitch.
I like Don Miller's analogy of, if they've bought into the problem enough to download, then they should be willing to follow you. Where are they following you to? And is it written in a way where you're guiding them to where you want them, which really ultimately is the solution? But you have to do it in a way that it doesn't feel like you're dragging somebody down a trail. No, they're eagerly trying to keep up with you. Like, what can I do next? And,
yes.
Oh, I should, you want to do this? Oh, okay, I'll do this. It should be so compelling that they don't even know that you are convincing them to do something. It's not persuasive. It's not hard sales. It's really guiding them to a solution they've already bought into, that they have this problem and want to, and now believe you can help them solve it. So they're eagerly looking to get to the solution.
Yes.
So that can be in your sales, should be on your sales squeeze page, should be on your follow-up emails, your telemarketing. It's all needs to be one consistent message driving the same CTA.
Yeah, I just spent all day yesterday writing about 20 different emails, and they all follow the same format. It's open with a hook, give them some story, some meat, some actionable information that you understand the problem. And at the bottom of every one of those emails was, if you didn't watch the documentary, here's a link to go back and finish it. Or if you haven't booked a call, here's the link to go book a call.
Yeah. And I think I'm going to deviate slightly here because, again, add value, give away solutions. I'm going to give you a solution that you guys can take away right now. If you do not have a paid ChatGPT or paid Claude, I think Brian and I have been persuaded to recommend Claude over ChatGPT for this, because you can literally create a sales funnel, which includes all these pieces, giving it all of the context so that when you're writing an email or the download or a social media script, it's already got the back end information that it needs. It understands what the purpose of every piece of content, every visual, and it will keep it really consistent when you ask for a script or you ask it to write follow-up emails or even a telemarketing script. Even the sales presentation when they sit down in your office. If it's all in one kind of search inside of either of those AI platforms, it will hold you accountable to make sure don't guess, make sure you leverage these tools that are very inexpensive, $20 a month.
And they're super smart. Like even if you know how to, I mean, we talk about this a lot too, but if you understand how to prompt an AI tool, you could say something as simple as, you could write the email and say, is this persuasive enough? Does this have the sales psychology in it that will get people to take action to do the thing, to click the link?
And if you take
it will rewrite it for you. It's smart enough to know what sales is sales. And it's been the same way forever, and it's not going to change. Advertising mechanics are, there's really nothing new to discover. So if you said, hey, AI, I want this sales message to be this way and have all of these parts and pieces, it will know what those parts are and it will inject it in there for you.
However, it's even better to go find those parts, and we're going to give you a download in a second that gives you all the ingredients you need to create great content. Upload that. And don't tell it what parts you want. Go find an expert who's already figured out the parts you need and add that to the conversation and say, please study this document and help me craft messaging about this problem, this solution in a way that follows these best recommendations. And then you'll get it more effective. Now I'm going to take it a step further. What if you then get recommended scripts, you create the video, you put it out there organically, and it flops? What's the value of having that AI chat channel that could help you solve that problem?
For a piece of content that doesn't do well?
That flops. It suggested content, you did it, it didn't work.
You feed that content right back in and say, why didn't this work?
Why did you gave me a script, it doesn't work, figure out why. I mean, seriously, you can say that and it will redo it. And you also could upload the video itself. You could upload the analytics from that video.
Yeah. You could take your worst piece of content and say, why didn't this work? And it'll tell you all the things that you need to fix.
And
or take your best piece of content and say, why did this work? And how could it be improved?
So you guys as financial advisors, you have obsessed over perfecting solving the problem of financial growth and accumulation. So please obsess over your messaging and make sure that you do whatever it takes. And you have to perfect the recipe. You're not going to get it right the first maybe 20 times, but go back, study, reiterate. Don't keep doing the same thing that's not getting any engagement.
Yeah, because it's just frustrating and it's just going to make you want to quit.
And for God's sake, don't put any money behind that content that's not getting any engagement, right? We want to save you money. We're trying to save you money. All right, so I think we're transitioning to a video from Neil Patel about what's the simplest way for businesses to get more social media engagement, which is kind of what we're talking about. So we kind of gave away some of the solution before the video, but let's go to Neil.
The simplest way for businesses to get more social media engagement. Did you know that the average person consumes 68 minutes a day of video on the social web according to Statista? What's more impressive is that in the last 5 years, that number has doubled, and it's still growing at a rapid pace. So what's opportunity? According to RealDive, 72% of consumers prefer video over text. To top it off, it's the most preferred type of social content. But when we analyzed 25,000 social media business profiles, do you want to guess what percentage of their content was in video format? A measly 12%. Create more videos, especially if you're a business.
Yes.
So talk about the value of that.
Well, just create more videos.
Well,
People are they've been trained to watch social media now, and 99% of it is video.
but it's so much work.
But
it takes so much time, Brian. I'm too busy. I'm trying to get sales.
I mean, well, look at the video that Neil Patel just made. It was an iPhone standing in front of a black background.
Yeah,
that wasn't hard.
no, it's not hard. You just have to care enough about
the production quality is less important than the messaging.
Absolutely.
And everyone on social media is just posting videos off their iPhone anyway. You post videos from your vacation and they look great.
Like
so there's no excuse on that end. It's really understanding the messaging, how to speak persuasively and format your content so that it grabs people's attention, gives them actionable value, and tells them what to do next.
The best
and AI can write you a script in 5 minutes to do that.
If you put all the right ingredients and instructions in.
But even if you don't, I think you'd still get 50% of the way there.
But if it doesn't work, you go back.
Yes, you can improve it by understanding what those pieces are that need to be there.
Correct.
And then you can analyze and look at your content, evaluate it, and then the ones that do well, then you can put paid ads behind them.
I just want to go back to what Neil said, is that majority of people are watching social media in video format. And yet, in the financial industry, according to Broadridge, the amount of financial advisor, life insurance business owners has gone down. And I think the percentage was less than 10% of financial advisors are creating ongoing content with proper messaging. And because it's easier to just do a text ad or pay for advertising and skip the whole organic altogether.
Yeah, write some post on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
I mean,
and that's just a waste of time. It's not a total waste of time. I mean, if you're trying to get, if you want your company to be the most seen company in your small town, then yeah, it makes sense to put billboards on the side of the freeway and do a bunch of just here's a piece of content, and they just are getting familiar with your logo. But that's all you're going to get is familiarity, nothing else.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are making content just for the sake of making content because they're told that they're supposed to. And they're treating it like an Instagram profile of their vacation.
Right.
Or, what I had for lunch. That's
right. And I would say the best thing that helped me, because does seem you're so focused on financial planning that you forget the importance of your messaging. So one of the things I had to do was I bought a selfie stick with a tripod on the bottom of it that spreads out, or I can use it as a selfie stick, and a phone mount in my windshield. Why? Because I drive to work for 30 minutes to work and home. So if I'm worried about time, then just put your phone up on your phone holder in your car. Don't look at the camera, but look at the road. But you could still kind of riff even, and then take that video and take it to your AI and say, can you formulate this conversation into a script?
Yeah, I've actually done that a few times. I just will record something into a voice memo of some ideas, just train of thought. And then I take that, I can upload that into Claude and say, here's my idea. And then I add a few more ideas to it and I say, make it better.
And you can literally have a conversation with your AI all the way home. And I even put a quick link. It's right here on my phone. All I have to do is tap that, even if its screen's closed, and it starts my audio conversation, where I can have a literally back and forth audio conversation about my ideas for content for the entire drive home if I wanted to.
Yeah.
So there's lots of ways to do it. I'm just encouraging advisors, start creating content, pull your phone out. Don't do fancy this and that. Just get started creating content. Use AI to evaluate it. Make sure you have the right pieces. We're going to give you a download that you could upload to your AI here. I think it's going to be offered by Gary V.
Yeah.
And that's coming up here shortly. In the meantime, let's go to our next video as we transition into the takeaways.
If you're trying to make a high performing advert, it needs 3 things. It needs a hook, it needs a value proposition, and a call to action. Without those 3 things, it's not going to convert well.
Very good. Now, that's pretty simple. I think we've covered that, but I'm seeing comments in here that are just, I laughed out loud during the video, but let's see if, I know who this is too. And don't speak like a snowflake whose statements sound like questions, zero credibility. That goes back to the like, no, trust. Don't be gimmicky. Don't try and be a social influencer.
Yeah. And it's exactly what earlier. It's like if all you have to do is show them that you understand the problem.
Let's see. Just a follow-up conversation going back and forth here. We can see how you really feel about the drivers
who cut you off.
Who cut me off. Yeah, exactly. Because you've seen a few of those. All right. Let's follow up here though on the video. You know, hook, story, offer, obviously that formula. Anything you want to add to that about the pieces that need to be involved? Like you have to check yourself. Did I include these pieces? Is there anything else you want to say about hook, story, offer that is extremely important? One for me is if you can't catch my attention in 5 seconds, maybe 3 seconds, especially on a video reel, then no matter how good you do on the rest of the video, I may scroll past it anyways.
Yeah.
Especially if it sounds like something I've already heard. Like, yeah, I've seen dozens of people explain this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, that comes down to knowing your market, knowing your audience, and figuring out a new creative way to explain it, or in a way that they haven't heard before. And a hook can be as simply as, if you're this type of person that has this problem, you're probably doing X, Y, and Z. That's all you need to say. If they have that problem, or if that's a piece of content that they would be interested in watching.
And again, if you're trying to figure out what recipe you need to have, I think we created the organic to paid advertising scorecard. If we do, let's bring that up now so that you can take a screenshot of it. But Brian, walk me through. And there's a couple questions. Yeah, there we go. That's what I was looking for.
So we've talked about a few of these before, but these could kind of be grouped in 2 different categories: watch time, audience retention, saves and shares. Those are metrics that will tell you if your content is doing well for getting views. But the action items, the CTA, you would want, did they go to your profile? If that was a CTA. If you want more information, go click on the link in my profile. How many people went to the profile? If you want web clicks, if you want more information, I have a free video. You can go to this link, you can watch it, or you can download this PDF, some kind of lead magnet. And then the ultimate one is calendar bookings. Do you have a CTA after you've given them enough information, enough value, built enough credibility with them to say, if you would like more, go ahead and schedule a phone call?
You just said if you built enough credibility. So I'm looking at looks like Carl Ille. This is interesting. I've never seen this acronym, but EAT, effective, authoritative trust.
Yes.
And I think that goes back to kind of what we've been saying throughout the show today is don't be gimmicky, be authentic, and authoritative. How can you be authoritative in your content?
Yeah. Well, we've talked about this before too. Don't lead with your solution, lead with the problem, show them that you understand who they are, what they're going through.
But if you're focusing on the problem, aren't there tricks we use, not tricks, but strategies we use in explaining the problem in a way they haven't heard that explanation before, and how that establishes you as more of an authority because you better understand the problem?
Yes.
So I think you also talked about even using third-party images, news headlines, newspaper headlines, whatever, Twitter quotes from
Yeah.
famous people
Mhm.
that reinforce the problem.
Yeah. And then you can deliver actionable things that they could do. You could do this, or you could do this, or you could do this.
And that's the effective part.
Yeah, the effective, authoritative, and even authoritative, you could be giving away your solution as like, this is what you should be doing.
Yeah.
Just tell them.
Great.
And then say, if you want help, or if you don't want to do this yourself, you can go ahead and call me.
Right.
Set up an appointment.
Yeah. All that in between telling people to schedule an appointment and social post, everything in between is what's missing. That's what we're talking about today.
Mhm.
I think I'm hoping the Gary V video's next, because he's actually going to give you the breakdown. Let's see if not, let's see, where are we?
Yeah, keep going.
If they're not good at making content, if they're going to do paid, they're going to make bad content it's going to cost them even more money because they're amplifying bad content. Like, you got to get good at the content.
Any advice for people that aren't sure if their content's good or bad, like how to improve it?
GaryV.com/attention. There's millions of other people besides me spitting knowledge on how to get views organically. Try to find different interesting ways, break patterns, fucking meditate, go on a trip, but most of all, swallow a humility pill and realize you fucking suck at it. Get better.
Yeah.
You got to love Gary V. He's just going to tell you right what he thinks.
Yeah, and a lot of people, we hear this all the time in marketing, and they say, well, I've been doing content, it's not working, social media doesn't work, or I've run Facebook ads and Facebook ads don't work. No, they work. It's just your content sucks. You're not good at making content.
And so if you would like a piece of content evaluated, go ahead and put content eval in the chat, and that will qualify you for a free assessment where we will both go through your piece of content and apply our strategy, and we'll give you a full evaluation of recommended fixes for that piece of content. And we'll give you a way to do that at the end. But also, if you're going to download the Gary V, the attention, it's free. He gave it to you. We'll put the link inside of the chat. We promise to do that. But I want you to actually put attention as a comment, so we know you downloaded it. But don't put it in until you download, unless you're committed to downloading it, because we want to see how many people are going to take action. We're on 4 different platforms right now. So whatever platform you're on, in the comments, put either Gary V attention or attention download, so we know that you've downloaded it, because we, again, want to add value, and we want to see that you're taking action.
Yeah.
We want to help you increase sales if you take the time to watch our lives each week. We want to track who is actually applying what we're teaching, and we want to know the results you're getting. If you're willing to take the advice we're giving you on your own, you're earning our attention. Right?
That's a little meta, but yes.
No, but it is.
Yeah.
I don't want to give away my time to people who aren't willing to take action.
And we want to celebrate those people that are
correct,
that are taking action and trying to improve.
And in the future, we may bring you on the show as a guest to share your story and how things have worked or not worked and how you iterated. So please make sure that you comment. And I think, did I skip clips here? Maybe I did.
And we're down on 5.
Okay. All right. There we go. And this is...
That's what we just watched.
Oh, we did watch it. Did we skip 4? Maybe we should go back and watch 4.
No, we watched 4.
Okay, forget it. I'm just lost in the middle of a live show. That's the joys of trying to broadcast, self-broadcast live. But
we have a comment.
Okay.
What is my educational content? What if my educational content performs better than my promotional content?
I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that.
That would be an interesting problem. Then I would say start boosting your organic content that's performing well, which is what we're talking about. Look at your content, which ones are doing better, make a new version of that and run that as paid ads, or just run the original as a paid ad. If the CTA is going to the thing that you want them to do. I wouldn't run paid ads on a piece of content that's just performing well, just for the sake that it's performing well.
Well, that's my issue. My issue is, from my experience, 25 years, is it may get a lot of views, but for what reason?
Yeah.
What is it accomplishing?
And that's what the advisor would need to determine. It's like, what for you, what is a good piece of content? Are you looking for views? Are you looking for downloads? Are you looking for booked appointments? Those are the pieces of content that you should be looking at to either improve or boost with paid advertising. And I would say I would only want to run ads that were going to a booked appointment.
If it's not generating,
or unless the top of your funnel is a lead magnet. A lot of people do that. We do that with a documentary. Our lead magnet is the documentary. So we're running paid ads to get people to go watch an hour-long documentary. And we're tracking those views too, to see how many people watch all the way through. So that way it informs us on, is the documentary performing well? Do we need to re-edit it, change it, shorten it? And then of those people that watched it, how many people are actually filling out a form and booking an appointment?
Well, and it's also helped
and then
us.
you've got two additional metrics. You've got leads, and now you have booked appointments that you're tracking. So you need to track both of those.
Absolutely. And you even got as advanced as, depending on what percentage of the video that they watch, changes what follow-up emails they get.
Yeah,
and you tailored the messaging, because if somebody watches at 75% of the video, that's obviously a higher engaged lead that's closer to being willing to take action.
That's a hot lead.
That's a hot lead. Is that, and what you said earlier, hey, Brian, I said to you, Brian, if you can get somebody to watch 75% of the video through Facebook ads, I'll either call that lead myself.
Oh, yeah.
Or I'll have one of my team members call that lead.
Yeah.
But I don't want to call people who watch 5 minutes and bounce.
Right. They're cold lead. They didn't care.
So they need to be nurtured further.
It wasn't for them.
Right.
Or they just got busy. They need to have a retargeting campaign that brings them back.
Yeah. And just a quick aside, and we're hitting the top of the hour, but people say, oh, I don't, telemarketing's dead. All you're going to get is voicemail. But you know what? Voicemail is a touch point.
Absolutely.
The fact that somebody gets an email, a text message,
direct mail in their inbox. I mean, on the mailbox at
voice
their house.
Drop. Oh, yeah.
No, I mean, even like a hard piece of mail, that's a contact point.
Correct.
It all works.
And every contact point starts to build rapport, familiarity. You're pushing them down closer to making a decision, even if that decision is, don't call me again. I'd rather know that.
Yeah. Either they buy or they tell you to drop dead. One or the other. Each one of those is something you can track.
So somebody just see if we can show this. Okay. How do I evaluate results properly? We talked about a little bit about this using AI, or you can have us do it for you.
Well, I would say a CRM like Better Automate is a great, which is our software platform that has everything you need inside it to see how many people open your email, how many people clicked the link, how many people downloaded your PDF, how many people even opened the email and bothered to read it. Those are all things that you can track, and you can do follow-up based on their engagement.
Secret tip. In today's digital world, you can track, and it's scary, you can track just about any behavior online.
Anything, yeah.
I mean, there's technology that we use that does heat mapping to show where people's eyes are looking at during a video.
And in all the platforms, most people don't bother to go into the analytics, but every single social media platform has an analytics tab. I think you have to have a business account on some of them, like Instagram. If you have if it's a business account versus a personal account, there's an analytics tab. You can see your watch time. You can see how many people click to your profile. YouTube has a whole analytics page behind it in YouTube Studio where you can monitor all of your videos, see the watch time, see the engagement. But then a CRM would be the real final piece that will tell you exactly how many people are actually booking an appointment.
some reason I kicked our back screen once again.
Oh, well.
My apologies, but let's go ahead and give a quick recap as we wrap up today's show. Thank you for everybody. We probably had more engagement today than we have had in a few weeks. And so it's good to see people leaning in, because we do, again, we want to see people take action, and we want measurable results. We want to see how you're increasing your sales. And this is a tough business. 9 out of 10 people don't make it through the first 12 to 24 months in this industry. So we want to give you the best competitive edge that you possibly can. So please make sure, we talked about it last week, you got to track your progress. And if you're not progressing and you can't figure out how to track it, then get help. If you need help, I'll give you free 15 minutes. You can just go to 15minutes.com, and we'll help you, because we want to point you in the right direction, assess where the problem's at, and then we want to point you in the right direction and allow you to go ahead and take action on that advice. And if you do that, then you're somebody we want to work with, because you're putting in the effort.
Yeah.
Solutions, we've talked about it. Don't do paid until you test your ads organically. If you don't have a big enough audience to do that, you said put a small amount down, just so that you get enough views to be able to test your engagement.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, it could be $1 a day.
And you've done some of those testing. Yeah, $1 a day. But if you can't invest $1 a day, you're in the wrong industry, or you don't have the you don't have the cash flow to be
skip Starbucks for a month.
Yeah. And then just make sure you're being honest with yourself. And the more analytics you study, the faster you'll learn what the problem is. One other thought about trigger links, the trackable links called trigger links inside a CRM, like Better Automate. Don't just use one trigger for the whole funnel. You should have as many different track as much different behavior as you can through a CRM, like ClickFunnels, Go High Level,
HubSpot,
Better Automate. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So let's see.
And then scale what converts. I think that was the final one.
Thank you.
Scale what converts. And scaling doesn't necessarily mean pay ads. Scale means do more of it. So if you found one video that did well, do 5 more exactly the same.
And I think that's
just re-record the whole thing as a fresh piece of content. Why not?
And a good takeaway based on what you just said, you probably have the content you need to put together a good performing organic ad. You just need to go dig through the past. If you haven't checked analytics in a year, I guarantee you probably have some gold in there. You just never saw it.
Yeah.
So go back through your history, find what worked the best, and analyze those, try and repeat, repackage, and repost. Okay. Well, as I said before, if we hope we add as much value as possible over downloads, there's the free assessment of your social media to point you in the right direction. Again, you can go to schedule15minutes.com. We'll help you do that. And you can join us every Thursday, 9 a.m. Pacific, for the Digital Advisors Sandbox Live. Every week, we help financial advisors build smarter marketing systems for the single purpose, going back to the beginning of our video, increase sales.
Increase sales, book more appointments.
Sales.
Yeah, and before you go, leave us a comment. We want to hear from you. It really helps us out on this show. And we want to know which part of the paid advertising has been your biggest challenge. I'd even be interested to know which parts of your organic are the biggest challenge. But find some winning content, lower your ad costs, getting better appointments, building a funnel. We talked about that, and knowing when to scale. Scale what converts, scale what's doing well.
Yeah.
And I think if you have those pieces, then, and if you need to know what type of content you should be making or your messaging, maybe we go back to the beginning and we revisit that on future podcasts.
And so if you don't get a chance to comment today, you're watching this in replay, you can always email me at rob@amhsupport.com, rob@amhsupport.com. And You can explain what you're looking for or advice that you want. We'd be happy to respond to you there as well. But remember, the goal isn't to become the financial advisor with the biggest advertising budget or the most amount of views. The goal is to become a financial advisor who knows exactly what deserves your advertising ad spend in order to increase sales.
That's right. And because the ads that make the most money always started as a simple piece of organic content that earned the trust before it ever earned the right to have a budget behind it. So we'll see you next Thursday inside the Digital Sandbox Live. Or